Hey, and hello again, YouTube. It has been a while since I posted anything. I've moved house and, well, in fact, sold two houses in two different countries over the last year or so I haven't been in a position to put any videos up. But here I am, back in my new shop at my house, and I'm going to stick a video up. So I'll just give you a quick look around where we are. Got my Harley Davidson Crossbones here. It's my own personal bike. Alongside it, I've got my Sportster Super Low, and next to that I have a Sportster Iron, which is the bike that we're going to look at and do a couple of bits on. This is a friend's bike, and I'm going to help him out and do some work on that, so we're going to video that and see how we go. But this is my new shop in my house, and I should be putting a few videos up again now from time to time. Yeah, let's get going. So I've just swapped these two bikes around to get started, and our mission today is we are going to change this for an LCD light, and we're going to see how difficult that's going to be. So what I've done is I'll show you exactly what I've purchased for the owner of the bike. It's an eBay special, £149. I've confirmed it fits. As usual with eBay, there's always a catch. Paid for it, ordered it. They sent me an email to say it's been dispatched. It's coming from this company here. And then as soon as they say it's dispatched, there's an email come along with that saying it may not fit, you may have to make some adjustments. So whether we will or not, I don't know. It's come well packaged in the box, plenty of foam, looks okay. No instructions with it. The only thing we've got are the diagrams online telling me which wires are which. So we will see how we go with that and how difficult this is going to be. Right, this should be a case of popping off this cover, undoing a nut, dropping the light out, disconnecting it, connect the new one in, doing the nut back up and putting the cover back on. But as in life, nothing is ever that simple. So I'm sure it's not going to work quite that easily. So let's start with finding the right socket that fits that. I'm going with a 17, and that's too small. It looks like it's going to be a 20, and it is. It's a 20. So let's just get that undone, and we will see what happens. I may stop the video from time to time and move the camera around, depending whether you're in my way or not. Hopefully where you're parked at the moment, you should be good. So that's our 20mm nut off. Now some older Harleys have this fitting on the underside, so the light's fitted that way up, but basically it's the same principle. So we have a spring washer in there, and just basically a flat washer as well, which at the moment it's a beveled one that sits bevel down, and that's how you adjust the light. So we'll keep those three together. Okay, so straight away, the wiring on this possibly is inside, I don't know, but our new one has the wiring on the outside because it's an LED light and there's going to be no space in there. So we're going to have to deal with securing the wiring at the very least to make that watertight. So we're going to have to get the bezel off this. That's a Phillips. See, no, that's not a Phillips. Let me grab the Phillips. So straight away, what you think should be just an easy, quick swap the light over becomes into a little bit more. And now my nut's spinning. should be gripping that nut, and there we go, it's gripping now. Let's get that off. I think my Phillips is slightly too large, but I couldn't be bothered to walk back to the toolbox unless you want to walk over and then get it to me. Right, this nut's going to pop off the right in a second, and I'm going to lose it on the floor. I really should perhaps find something to put over the front fender in case I drop something on it. We'll look at that in a second. Let's get that off. Put those down here on the floor. I like to keep all the tools I'm using on the job together. Let's find something just to drop over that. I've got arthritis in my hands, and I'm just as likely to drop a spanner or a ratchet and it lands on the front fender, and that would not be good. Right, let's see what we got in here. So we have the, I'm sure you can see that, the 3-prong connector, and then we have an earth and a live down which goes to the side light. So the way that this light works is you're going to have an earth there and 2 lives, one for your headlight and one for your main beam, and then you've got an earth and a light there for your side light, which technically is a running light. Let's grab my stool and sit down. I don't know what you're seeing on there. I'm trying, you don't really want to see me. So feasibly, that will plug straight onto that, and I'm guessing the live one here will connect to the running light, and the earth one we won't need because the running light's earthed through this one on here. So I'm just gonna figure out how I'm taking that off, and switch you off for a second and come back to you when we're wired up. I'm sure you don't want to see me messing around with the wiring. Radio. I thought before I'd rip all the wiring out, double check the lights working. So what I've done is I've connected the connector to the one that comes on the light, and we have the only spare wire that comes with the light. Extra spare wire is the what they call the running light, but I thought we'd give that a try and see what's coming on. I think you should be just in camera there. So if I turn the light on, then obviously it is working. If I use the main beam, that is working. The flasher is working. So anything that's not connected that comes with the light is this spare wire, which I would assume they call it a running light. But if I connect it, it makes absolutely no difference. So I think that is actually surplus to our requirements. So I'm going to ignore that and connect it up as is. So where are we up to? I didn't want to bore you too much taking the headlight bowl out, but basically I took the spade connectors out of its holder. As long as you've got some small flat screwdrivers, that's not too difficult to do. A little fiddly, so it took me about 5 minutes to get that off. And then obviously I had to pull the wires out of the headlight bowl, and the only thing I've actually had to destroy was the rubber grommet that was in there. I couldn't move it, so I've had to slice that and cut the rubber grommet. So the old headlight bowl is off. Now I have to decide whether I am going to refit the connector so I can connect these 2 wires together and then just seal that, or whether to cut this connector off, cut the fittings off here, and actually resolder and use some heat shrink on it and put it back together like that. As I can't get hold of the person that owns the bike right now because they're at work, I think for the time being, because it's not a huge thing to undo one nut to get back into here, I'm going to reconnect this up, and then I'm going to make this waterproof with insulation tape and fit the light back in. And if we find that there's just too much wire floating around in here, then I'll go back in and perhaps do it slightly better by losing this connector completely. So again, I'm not going to mess about filming whilst I'm putting this all back together and put this back in. I'll bring you back when I'm at the point of putting the headlight back in. Now the only difference between the two headlights is the fitting on the top. So the fitting bolt on this one is obviously on a swivel, where this one, it comes straight out of the headlight bucket. So this one will be about ½ an inch lower down when I put this back in. So we'll see how that goes in a minute, but I'll switch you off for a second. On to the next bit. I've used insulation tape and tidied up the electrics the best I can. Spent a little bit more time making sure that the connector here is completely watertight, because obviously originally this was inside the bucket on the old light. And the other thing with leaving that connector in and not soldering the wires, if we want to go back to the stock light, it's just take the tape off and the connector's there ready to go back in the stock light. So all we need to do now is get this back up in the hole and put back on the original beveled washer, the spring washer. Obviously it's a new nut because the fittings are slightly different size, so that's come down in size. It won't be a 20 to do that up. That looks like that's probably 17, 16, maybe a 15 even. It's quite small compared to the other one. Get that started. Find the right socket for that. That's a 16. Let's try that one. And looks like it's a 17. So the replacement on this is a 17. Yep. I'll get that tidied up. Obviously, the bezel that's holding the LED in, because the way that Harley Davidson's fit the lights, I don't know, I could leave it at the top. I might loosen it off and spin that around. So this fitting's at the bottom. I'll do that in a second. Need to get that pointing somewhere in the right direction. And I can adjust that when I've got the bike upright. Obviously now I've got a fitting under here to tilt it forward and backwards, and it's still got the beveled nut in the top, so that will give it movement in all directions. But that's back on where it needs to be, and it just leaves me, I'm going to loosen this off so this ugly looking fitting here is under the light, and that will kind of be it. I'm hoping that I don't have to take this off, because they are quite a bit of a pain to put on, that I can just loosen that off, and if I'm careful it will slide round. And it's just going to fight me. I can see it happening, and it's not going to slide. No. Now I think this light is the same up both ways. It's got the same setup, so I don't think the actual sealed unit matters which way up it is. So if I can't take this off, it looks like I'm going to have to release it completely. Let's have a look. We might as well have a look. I'll leave you running. Let's see what happens, because these are quite annoying to put back on sometimes. They spring off and you fight with them a bit, because I'd like to just take that off, turn it up the other way and put that back on again. It's going to let me do that. Of course it is. And then I'll keep showing you my bald head, don't I? I'm sure you don't want to see that, but I might have to get my trusty assistant to help me put that back on, because I'm going to need to push on it and hold the nut in the right place. So I'll get to that off camera probably, because I need to get somebody else in here to squeeze that together. Yeah, I managed to do it myself. Just got it in the right place, pinched that up. So that has taken, in real time, not in video time, that's taken me probably 40 minutes messing around with that, getting that on and off. So we just check that out, check it's working, see if it's pointing in roughly the right direction. Got a flicker here somewhere, let's have a look, see. Yeah, high beam, low beam, looking pretty nice, all working good. Well, I think that's it for this one. We are going to come back to this bike and put another video up shortly, and I'll give you a bit of history on this bike. I'm just waiting for the parts to come in for the next little job that we need to do, so we'll come back to that on another video. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you're really nice, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TW Life. Thank you.